But racism at the end of the day will be conquered only by spirits kindred, eyes open and hearts bared. We must learn to hear what we'd rather not and realize that we were chosen for this trial, for this time, and for the triumph down the line.
Confronting racism with a flood straight from the heart. These are the sounds of the fight for equality. The footsteps that represent a CSU and Fort Collins commitment to stand up to racism.
It really just comes down to just understanding people's struggles and not being sympathetic, but being empathetic and actually believing and hearing what other people are saying.
As a teacher in my classroom, to be sure everyone is treated equally and helped along in whatever help they need, and also that my students understand that we each have a lot more power to affect change in our lives if we're conscious of where change needs to happen.
For more than 2 decades, this community has come together on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, marching from Old Town to the CSU campus to reaffirm the commitment to work for equality and justice.
I worked actually with community people to do the first march. We were nervous that first time because, there was still controversy over his birthday and how people should celebrate it. And we just weren't sure if Fort Collins was ready.
All these years later, the march serves as a reminder.
It helps to remind me that we just have to stay diligent. We have to keep this in the front of mind. That's where we're at now, and I want us to keep it there. Otherwise, change is not going to occur in the way that we need it to.
There's still more progress that needs to be made. I think that we shouldn't have to settle for what's been made. We should continue to push for more until it's equal for all.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you.
The day recognizing the civil rights leader became an official university holiday after President Albert Yates came to CSU in 1990. Yates called it a day on rather than a day off, and strongly encouraged the entire campus community to join in recognizing the day and its purpose, a tradition which CSU President Tony Frank carries on today.
Well, I think it's always been a great CSU tradition to take this day and prioritize the time to rededicate ourselves to what it is we're trying to accomplish as a community. So it's a way of taking stock, reminding ourselves, the progress we've made, that's important, but let's not spend too much time patting ourselves on the back. Let's focus on what's ahead and make a difference.
After the march, younger students share their vision of the ongoing challenge.
We cannot change things alone. We must do it together. To live in a world free of hate, free of racism, free to be who we want to be, and to follow any path we want.
On the topic of racial justice, there is so much to say.
Everyone is scared of racism. Racism is kind of complicated, kind of sophisticated for a sickness. But
this day is a call to face racism with a responsibility to take action against racism.
It means acting and being willing to confront racism and systemic biases, being unwilling to rest until diversity, inclusion, equality, and justice are not something that we gather with our children to march for, but are the reality, not the dream.
This is not a CSU issue, a community issue. It's all of our issues, and we're all here together, and I think that's what makes it so powerful.
But I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.